Have you ever woken up from a nap feeling worse than before you closed your eyes? Maybe your head feels foggy, your heart feels heavy, or your body just won't seem to wake up. You thought that 30 minutes of rest would make you feel refreshed, but instead, you're more tired, more disoriented, and wondering, what's wrong with me? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many older adults nap during the day as a way to recharge, and that's okay. After all, your body changes with age. Your energy levels dip at different times. Your nights may be more restless, and naps feel like a helpful way to catch up. But what if the way you nap is quietly working against your health, especially your memory and your heart? You see, new research shows that daytime naps that are too long, too late, or done out of habit, not true fatigue, can disrupt your sleep-wake cycle, make it harder to sleep at night, and even increase the risk of cognitive decline and heart disease. What sounds like a simple rest could actually be sending your body confusing signals. Am I waking or sleeping? Is it time to be alert or shut down? Over time, this can cause your body's natural rhythm, your internal clock, to fall out of sync. But don't worry, this isn't a message telling you not to nap. Quite the opposite. This is about learning how to nap wisely, because when done right, a nap can be a beautiful tool. A short, intentional rest at the right time of day can boost memory, reduce stress on your heart, and restore the clarity and energy you need to enjoy your afternoon. It's not about skipping naps. It's about respecting your rhythm. In this video, we'll gently walk through 8 common mistakes older adults often make with daytime napping, and how small adjustments in timing, position, and awareness can turn your naps into something truly healing instead of harmful. Whether you nap every day or just once in a while, this may be the insight your body has been quietly asking for. Because when you take care of your rest, you take care of your brain, your heart, and your future. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks, everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1. Napping too long. More than 45 minutes is too much for years. Carl believed that a long nap during the day was just what his body needed. After lunch, he would settle into his recliner, pull a blanket over his legs, and close his eyes for an hour, sometimes 2. At first, it felt comforting, but as time went on, Carl noticed something strange. He would wake up groggy, his heart racing slightly, and his mind clouded. Worse, he began having trouble falling asleep at night. And when he did sleep, it never felt restful. He started forgetting small things. His energy dipped in the afternoon instead of rising. And slowly he realized his nap might not be helping after all. This is more common than most people think. Many older adults assume that the longer you sleep during the day, the more rested you'll feel. But the truth is quite the opposite. Napping for more than 45 minutes, especially beyond an hour, can actually disrupt your body's natural sleep rhythm, leading to grogginess upon waking, known as sleep inertia, and making it much harder to fall asleep or stay asleep at night. But that's not all. Several scientific studies have linked long daytime naps, over 60 minutes, to an increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even cognitive decline in seniors. Why? Because extended naps can confuse the brain's internal clock, known as the circadian rhythm. Instead of feeling refreshed, your body begins to lose its sense of timing, causing your sleep at night to become fragmented, light, and less restorative. Over time, poor nighttime sleep affects your memory, emotional balance, and cardiovascular health. And when that cycle continues, poor sleep at night, long naps by day, it can quietly accelerate physical and mental fatigue. But the good news? You don't have to give up your nap. You just have to adjust the length. Experts agree that the ideal nap for older adults is between 20 and 30 minutes, just long enough to recharge your brain and body without slipping into deep sleep that's hard to wake from. These short naps, often called power naps, help improve alertness, mood, memory, and even heart function without interfering with your nighttime rest. Let me ask you this. Are your naps helping you feel refreshed, or are they slowly stealing the rest you truly need? Carl decided to try something different. Instead of napping for an hour or more, he set a timer for 25 minutes. He lay on the couch, closed his eyes, and allowed himself to rest, but not sink too deep. When the timer went off, he sat up, drank a glass of water, and stepped outside for some fresh air. And little by little, he began sleeping better at night. His afternoons felt sharper, his memory returned, and most importantly, he felt in control of his energy again. Because sometimes less really is more, especially when it comes to sleep. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore another common mistake, napping too late in the day, and why your nap time might be quietly stealing your nighttime peace. Number 2. Napping too late in the day. Disrupting night sleep. Margaret used to nap every afternoon, but over time that nap kept drifting later and later. Sometimes it was 3:30 p.m., sometimes even 5 p.m., especially if she felt bored or restless. It felt harmless, just a short rest after reading or doing chores. But as the weeks passed, she began struggling to fall asleep at night. She'd lie awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, mind wandering, legs uncomfortable, brain refusing to settle down. Her nights became shorter, her mornings groggier, and by the time lunch rolled around, she was so exhausted that, of course, she'd nap again. It's a cycle many older adults fall into without realizing it. But here's the truth. Napping too late in the day can quietly sabotage your body's natural sleep-wake rhythm, also known as the circadian clock. This internal system governs when your body wants to be awake and when it wants to rest. And once disrupted, it becomes much harder for your brain to know when to release melatonin, your body's natural sleep signal. When you nap after 3 p.m., especially for more than 20 to 30 minutes, you send mixed messages to your brain. Are we still active today? Is it night already? Should I be sleeping now or later? As a result, your ability to fall asleep at night becomes delayed, and your deep, restorative sleep becomes shorter or more fragmented. Over time, this leads to fatigue, memory issues, mood changes, and even increased risk of cardiovascular problems. The older we get, the more delicate our sleep system becomes. Unlike in our younger years, we can't make up for poor sleep as easily. That's why timing matters just as much as how long we sleep. So what's the ideal time for a nap? Experts suggest the early afternoon, between 12 noon and 2 p.m. This aligns with the body's natural dip in alertness after lunch and gives you enough distance from your evening sleep window to avoid interference. Let me gently ask you, is your nap giving you energy or quietly stealing your sleep at night? Margaret made a simple but powerful change. She began scheduling her nap for 1 p.m., just 25 minutes long, in a quiet, shaded room. She resisted the temptation to nap later, even when she felt tired in the afternoon. Within a week, her sleep at night deepened. Her mood lifted. Her mind felt clearer. And most importantly, she began to trust her body again, to rest when it was time, and to rise when it was ready. Because healthy sleep isn't just about what happens at night. It's about the rhythm you set all day long. In the next section, we'll look at something you might not think about when it comes to naps: your posture. How you nap, whether slumped in a chair or properly supported, can make all the difference in how you feel when you wake up. Number 3, napping in a bad position, stress on the neck and back. When James retired, he made a habit of napping in his favorite armchair after lunch. It reclined just enough to make him drowsy, and the living room sunlight made it cozy. But he often woke up with a stiff neck, sore shoulders, or even a dull ache in his lower back. Sometimes he'd feel lightheaded when he stood up too quickly, or his arms would tingle from being in an awkward position too long. He assumed it was just part of getting old. What he didn't realize was that his nap wasn't the problem. It was how he was napping. As we age, our joints, muscles, and circulation systems become more sensitive. Napping in a slouched, unsupported position, like sitting upright with your head tilted forward or sideways, can put significant strain on the neck, back, and even breathing. When your head hangs forward, it compresses the airway and reduces oxygen flow to the brain. When your spine isn't aligned, pressure builds in the lower back or shoulders. And when your arms or legs are poorly supported, circulation slows, leading to tingling, numbness, or even swelling. This kind of poor posture during a nap not only causes physical discomfort, it disrupts the quality of your rest. Instead of waking refreshed, you wake stiff, sore, and more tired than before. Over time, it can even affect your balance and posture during the day, increasing the risk of falls or chronic pain. So, what can you do? The answer isn't to stop napping, it's to nap smarter. If you nap in a chair, use a neck pillow or small rolled towel to support the curve of your neck. Recline the chair slightly if possible, and place a small pillow or cushion behind your lower back. Avoid crossing your legs or hunching forward. If you're able to lie down safely, even better. Lying on your back with a pillow under your knees or on your side with proper head and hip alignment helps the body relax more fully. And keep your space comfortable. Dim the lights, reduce noise, and cover yourself lightly if it's chilly. The goal is not to fall into deep sleep, but to let your body truly rest without tension. Let me ask you this. Are you letting your body rest or forcing it to nap through discomfort? James made just a few changes. He added a small neck pillow, placed a cushion under his knees, and stopped sleeping upright with his head falling forward. Within days, the neck pain stopped. The dizziness disappeared. His naps became shorter, but more restorative. He said it felt like his body was finally allowed to relax, not just collapse. Because true rest isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about giving your body the support it needs to heal, even for 20 minutes a day. In the next part of our journey, we'll talk about a common shortcut many seniors turn to for rest, sleeping pills during the day, and why this quick fix might quietly be doing more harm than good. Number 4, using sleeping pills for naps, a risky shortcut. Eleanor never meant to rely on sleeping pills, but after her husband passed away, sleep became harder. She would lie awake at night, restless and alone. During the day, her energy dipped sharply, and she felt the overwhelming need to rest. But she couldn't fall asleep without help. So little by little, she started using a low-dose sleeping pill not just at night, but also for her afternoon naps. It seemed harmless. After all, what's wrong with a little help? At first it worked. She fell asleep faster, napped longer. But over time, something shifted. Eleanor began feeling foggy even hours after waking. She stumbled more often. Her memory slipped. Words she'd known her whole life would suddenly disappear mid-sentence. And though she was technically sleeping more, she didn't feel better. In fact, she felt worse. Unfortunately, Eleanor's experience isn't rare. Many older adults quietly turn to sleeping pills to help them rest during the day, not realizing that these medications can have serious consequences, especially as we age. Sleeping pills, including over-the-counter ones, and even so-called natural sleep aids, interfere with your brain's natural sleep architecture. They can knock you out, yes, but they don't let your brain cycle through the deep, restorative stages of sleep the way your body's designed to. What you get instead is sedation, not true rest. And that sedation lingers, impacting your memory, reaction time, balance, and even emotional stability. Worse yet, frequent daytime use of sleep medications can lead to dependence, meaning your body begins to forget how to fall asleep naturally. This leads to a vicious cycle, needing pills to nap, needing more pills to sleep at night, and waking up feeling even less rested. Some studies have even linked long-term use of certain sleep aids to cognitive decline and increased risk of dementia, as well as cardiovascular strain due to disrupted circadian rhythms. What begins as a gentle assist slowly becomes a quiet burden. But there is hope, and it doesn't require cutting everything off overnight. Let me ask you gently, are you resting, or are you simply escaping tiredness? Eleanor, with support from her doctor and family, began weaning off her afternoon sleeping pill. She started creating a calm nap routine instead, turning off her phone, sitting by a window, drinking a warm herbal tea, and allowing her body to rest naturally, just for 20 to 30 minutes. At first it was difficult, but after a few weeks her brain began to remember how to relax on its own. Her thoughts cleared, her energy returned, And she said, "It's like I came back to myself." Because real rest doesn't come in a bottle, it comes from balance, rhythm, and trusting that your body still knows how to heal. In the next section, we'll explore another important truth. Napping every single day, even when you're not tired, may actually be a signal that your body's asking for something else entirely. Number 5, napping every day without need may signal deeper issues. Every day after lunch, Charles would quietly drift toward his armchair, settle in, and nap. It wasn't because he felt physically tired. It was just what he did, part of his routine, as predictable as brushing his teeth. The television would still be murmuring in the background, a book resting on his chest, the room silent except for the ticking of the clock. And yet when he woke, he didn't feel refreshed. He felt heavier, not just in his body, but in his heart. His thoughts seemed slower, his motivation faded, and deep down he began to wonder, am I really resting, or am I just retreating? It's a question many older adults don't think to ask. After all, isn't napping good for you? Isn't it part of staying healthy and rested? The answer, like most things in life, depends on why. Because when naps come from genuine tiredness, they restore us. But when they come from boredom, emotional fatigue, or habit, they can quietly become a symptom, not a solution. Frequent daytime naps without a true physical need may actually signal something deeper beneath the surface, like mild depression, lack of stimulation, early cognitive changes, or a simple absence of meaningful engagement. It's easy to confuse sleepiness with emotional stillness, but the body and the soul are deeply connected. Sometimes the soul whispers, "I feel disconnected," and the body responds by saying, "Maybe I'll just sleep through it." And while there's nothing wrong with rest, in fact, it's essential, there's a big difference between restoration and escape. Napping every day without feeling truly tired can, over time, dull your sharpness, cloud your sleep at night, and shrink the size of your days. Slowly, you might find yourself skipping activities you once loved, avoiding conversations, or simply watching the world pass by instead of participating in it. Let me ask you gently, are your naps a gift to your body, or are they a quiet surrender to the passing time? Charles didn't give up napping, but he began to pay closer attention. He asked himself each day, do I really need a nap, or do I need something else? Sometimes he needed a walk in the sunlight, sometimes a phone call to a friend, sometimes just a change of scenery, a few minutes outside with a cup of tea, listening to birdsong instead of silence. And on the days when he truly did feel weary, he allowed himself a short, restorative nap, 20 or 30 minutes, no guilt, just care. What changed wasn't just the nap, it was the awareness, the intention, the willingness to choose presence over routine, connection over automatic comfort, and slowly his afternoons felt brighter, his mind clearer. His sense of purpose, once dulled by habit, came back to life. Because aging well isn't about avoiding naps. It's about knowing when your body truly needs rest and when your spirit needs something more. Number 6, not napping at all. Missing a gentle reset. For most of her life, Linda was the kind of person who kept going. She raised a family, worked long hours, and rarely sat down until the sun did. Even in retirement, she clung to that momentum. Her days were full of little tasks, folding laundry that didn't need folding, organizing drawers already neat, watching the clock like it owed her something. What she didn't do, ever, was a nap. Naps are for people who have nothing else to do, she'd say, half proud, half stubborn. And even when her eyes drooped after lunch, even when her thoughts started drifting mid-conversation, she told herself to stay busy, to push through, to resist. But slowly, Linda began to notice that something felt off. By 3 p.m., her energy dipped sharply. Her memory, once so reliable, would flicker. She'd read the same sentence twice without knowing it. She became more irritable, less focused, and at night, despite all her effort to stay awake during the day, she still couldn't sleep deeply. Her body wasn't responding to her will anymore. It was whispering something she had long ignored. Please let me rest. This is the quiet truth many older adults face. Somewhere along the way, rest became something we felt we had to earn, not something we're allowed to receive. We mistake fatigue for weakness. We treat napping as laziness, as though needing a short break is a sign that something's wrong. But the reality is, our aging bodies and brains benefit greatly from a gentle reset in the afternoon. Not because we are giving up, but because we are growing wiser about what we truly need. As we age, the brain's ability to maintain deep, continuous sleep at night often changes. Light sleep, early waking, and nighttime interruptions become more common. That means a short nap during the day, done at the right time and in the right way, can help restore clarity, improve blood pressure regulation, and boost memory consolidation. In fact, a 20 to 30-minute nap can function like a mental reboot, leaving you more present, sharper, and even more emotionally balanced. When we deny ourselves this opportunity out of guilt or pride, we're not building strength, we're draining it. We end up running on fumes, going through the motions, but missing the fullness of the moment. The body becomes more tense, the heart feels more strained, and the mind, though awake, loses its edge. Let me ask you gently, are you skipping the nap because you truly don't need it, or because you feel like you're not supposed to? Linda, after some gentle encouragement from her daughter, decided to try a nap, not because she was weak, but because she was willing to try something new. She dimmed the room, laid down, and set a timer for just 25 minutes. No phone, no guilt, just stillness. When she woke, it wasn't dramatic, but it was different. She felt clearer, softer, less scattered. Her mind, for the first time in a while, felt like it had been listened to. And over time, this small change helped her sleep better at night. Her afternoons became more peaceful, her days more joyful, because strength isn't always about pushing through. Sometimes it's about knowing when to pause, breathe, and begin again. In the next section, we'll shift our focus to another everyday mistake. What happens when we lie down too soon after eating lunch, and how this common habit can quietly affect your digestion, your heart, and your quality of rest. Number 7, sleeping right after eating. Poor digestion, poor rest. After lunch, Richard had a habit, one that felt harmless, even pleasant. He'd finish his meal, put his plate in the sink, and within 5 minutes, he'd be in his recliner with a blanket over his legs, eyes already beginning to close. To him, this was comfort. This was retirement. A warm meal followed by a cozy nap. But over the months, he began noticing that his naps didn't feel as good anymore. He would wake up with a strange tightness in his chest, a bitter taste at the back of his throat, and a bloated heaviness in his belly. His sleep felt disturbed, shallow, and often left him feeling worse than before. What Richard didn't realize was that the timing of his nap, not the nap itself, was quietly working against him. You see, after we eat, especially a full, satisfying meal, our body begins the complex process of digestion. The stomach produces acids, the intestines go to work, the blood flow shifts toward the gut. But when we lie down too soon after eating, we interrupt that natural flow. Gravity, which normally helps move food downward, now allows acid to rise upward, leading to acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion, and disturbed breathing. In older adults whose digestive systems may already be slower and more sensitive, this becomes even more pronounced. What feels like fatigue after a meal may just be the body's way of focusing its energy on digestion, not a true signal that it needs sleep. And if we sleep on a full stomach, not only is the digestive process compromised, but the heart has to work harder, the diaphragm may become compressed, and our rest becomes uneasy, fragmented, and far less restorative. And beyond discomfort, there's a deeper concern. Frequent acid reflux after meals can lead to long-term inflammation of the esophagus, nighttime coughing, and even increase the risk of silent aspiration, where stomach contents move toward the lungs without noticeable symptoms. All of these things can disrupt sleep patterns, elevate anxiety, and negatively affect cardiovascular health. But thankfully, the solution is simple and gentle. Wait. Give your body at least 30 minutes after eating before lying down for a nap. Use that window not as wasted time, but as an opportunity to move lightly, reconnect, and breathe. A short walk around the block, watering the plants, listening to music, even just sitting by the window and journaling. These quiet, mindful moments not only support digestion, but they also prepare your mind for deeper, more relaxing rest. Let me ask you this: is your nap a gift to your body, or is it unintentionally placing extra weight on it when it's already working hard? When Richard began waiting before lying down, he noticed subtle but meaningful changes. His stomach felt calmer, his chest didn't burn. His nap became something he looked forward to again. Not a recovery from discomfort, but a moment of renewal. He started calling it his second sunrise, a time to reset, recharge, and return to his day with more ease. Because a nap, like a good meal, should leave you feeling satisfied, not burdened. And when we give our body the rhythm it deserves, it gives back in ways we never expected. In the next section, we'll take a closer look at the environment where you nap. Because even if your timing is perfect, trying to rest in a noisy, overstimulated space can leave your brain more exhausted than before. So here we are, at the end of a quiet but important journey, a journey through something as simple, as ordinary, and yet as powerful as the afternoon nap. We've talked about what happens when naps are too long, too late, too frequent, or taken in a rush after lunch. We've explored the harm of sleeping in poor positions, the risks of relying on sleeping pills, and even the hidden reasons we nap when our hearts are asking for something else. And perhaps, more than anything, you've realized this: napping is not about laziness or weakness, it's about balance. It's about knowing when to let the body pause so that the mind can return clearer. It's about listening not just with logic, but with compassion for your joints, your heart, your memory, and your spirit. Many of us were raised in a world that equated rest with being unproductive. We were taught to push through, to keep moving, to stay busy. But in the later chapters of life, we begin to understand that slowness is not the enemy of strength. Sometimes it's the path to true strength. A well-timed, gentle nap is a gift to your brain. It protects memory, restores clarity, and lowers the stress that quietly builds in your heart each day. It brings your nervous system back into balance. It gives your body time to reset, not because it's broken, but because it's wise enough to ask for care. But real rest doesn't happen by accident. It happens through awareness, through little shifts, shortening a nap to 20 minutes instead of 60, choosing to nap earlier, not later, sitting quietly after lunch instead of collapsing right away, turning off the noise, dimming the lights, and allowing silence to settle in. These small choices aren't just routines, they are acts of self-respect. Let me remind you of this simple truth. You are still allowed to care for yourself gently. You are still allowed to rest without apology, not because you're slowing down, but because you're growing into a rhythm that honors your stage of life, your body's pace, and your mind's needs. So the next time your eyelids grow heavy, pause and ask yourself, what kind of rest do I need right now? Maybe it's a nap, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's just sitting in the sunlight for a few minutes, letting the world go on while you quietly recharge. Whatever it is, honor it, because aging well isn't about racing through the day. It's about knowing when to rest, how to rest, and why that rest matters more now than ever before. Live gently, sleep wisely, and let your days be filled not with exhaustion, but with calm, with clarity, and with care. One mindful breath and one beautiful nap at a time. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.